Have you ever gone to a steakhouse and the most impressive thing on the menu wasn't the steak? Horns up and welcome to a brand new episode of Headbangers Kitchen. Folks, I'm back with another recipe inspired by my recent trip to Turkey. Today we're going to be making a delicious eggplant soup. Yup, I know a lot of you are thinking, what? Eggplant and soup? Yup, believe it or not, Dipti and I went to a steakhouse in Cappadocia and she didn't want to eat a steak, so she just decided to have the soup of the day, which was an eggplant soup. And when we tasted that soup, oh my god, our minds were blown. We could not believe, first of all, that eggplant was turned into a soup and that it was so delicious. So when I came back, I knew I had to find a recipe for a good eggplant soup, and that's why we're here today. I've got some amazing white colored eggplants and we're going to make a delicious eggplant soup. Anyway, enough jibber jabber, let's get cooking. For this recipe, I will be using these white eggplants that were sent to me by a local hydroponic farm. But of course, you can make this recipe with your standard eggplant that you buy at the farmer's market or at the grocery store. Now I will prep these eggplants and cut them in half. Make sure you remove the stem and then slice them down the middle. And now my eggplants are prepped and ready to roast. I get my baking tray and I arrange those eggplant halves skin side down. Then I brush them with some ghee. And now I pop them in my preheated oven at 190 Celsius to roast for about 25 to 30 minutes. And halfway through I just check in on them, and yeah, those look pretty good. They are roasting nicely. Once they are roasted and out of the oven, I just cover them with a bit of foil and let them cool down. Once they have cooled down, it's time to scoop out the eggplant flesh. So just get a spoon and it should go through the flesh nice and easy, like a hot knife through butter. Do this for all the eggplants and you should be left with a full bowl of beautifully tender roasted eggplant flesh. This is what we need to make our soup. So let's get on with it. Now get a pot on the stove and add in 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of flour. And now you just want to cook that for about 2 minutes. This is how we normally make a roux, and you don't want the soup to have a floury taste, so about 2 minutes of cooking this should be fine. Then we add the eggplant and give it all a good stir. Next I add in some milk and give it all a good mix. Once that's done, it's time to add in some water. Now I prefer to add in water step by step so I can control how thick the soup is. So I just kind of eyeball the water based on how thick or thin I want the soup to be. And now that I'm happy with it, I season the soup with some salt, and of course I get my immersion blender and blend that soup. You can also use a normal blender, no problem. And of course you can also strain the soup for an even silkier texture. But honestly, I mean, look at that soup. It's got a nice thickness and richness about it. I will taste it now for seasoning, and then I shall add some black pepper, give it a final good mix, and it's ready. Now I pour myself a bowl of that soup. I finish it with some chili butter, some fresh chives, and a squeeze of lemon juice. And our delicious roasted eggplant soup is done and ready. I mean, that looks so good, I can't wait to taste it. But not before the money shot. So I'm gonna get a spoon in there and just look at that glorious soup. Ooh yeah! Anyway, enough jibber jabber, time to taste. Alright folks, it's time to taste the eggplant soup, and of course I had to have Dipti here for the tasting because she's the one who placed the order for soup of the day.
Yeah, it was just a surprise order that worked out so well.
I know. So are you ready
is
to...
this going to surprise me as well?
Well, why don't you dig in and let me know how surprised you are.
Expectations are pretty high after that.
Alright, and let's see if I live up to those expectations. Let's eat.
It's hot.
So creamy.
Oh, yum. How is it so thick?
The eggplant. And they also use flour and butter to sort of thicken it. So actually the soup is eggplant puree, milk, flour and butter.
So it's an eggplant bechamel.
Yeah, it's literally like an eggplant bechamel.
It's a great idea for a pasta sauce there.
Yeah, I mean, I've thinned it out a little bit, but how does it taste?
It's great. It is like so comforting. It doesn't even taste like eggplant actually. It tastes nothing like eggplant. It's just a really thick, creamy, comforting
mellow
bowl. Yeah.
Is it as good as the restaurants?
There was something that they used that I can't quite like. I mean, I can't tell what it was.
All right.
But it's delicious in its own way.
So I think maybe the restaurant probably used some herbs in it if possible, and probably onion, I think.
Yeah, onion might have been in.
So you can probably add some onion to this as well, roast it along with the eggplants, and I think it will add definitely add another layer of flavor. But on its own as well, this is delicious.
It's delicious.
So does it get the
healthy?
Does it get the horns up?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. So Dipti gives the eggplant soup the horns up, and we're going to go finish this now, and I will see you on the next episode of Headbangers Kitchen. Until then, cheers and keep cooking.
Eating.
Yes, keep eating and keep cooking. See you. A big thank you to the Headbangers Kitchen community that supports me on Patreon and here on the YouTube channel memberships, and of course everyone who regularly watches the videos on the channel. Thank you very much. I would not be able to make these videos without your constant support. Anyway, let me know in the comments what is your favorite soup in the whole wide world. And if you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. And click here to check out one of my other soup recipes, or maybe click here and get, I don't know, a vegetarian recipe.